Oh, that's you.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Chanel with Relationship Status Live. We here one more again, y'all. Thursday, 9 p.m. Look, it's like 9:05. But that's neither here nor there. We here. So tonight, guys, we're dealing with hurt people. Hurt people. Why you say that? Why it's gonna be heavy? Cause what?
Look, I told you had no help out.
I ain't had no help today.
We ready.
We ready. You supposed to be helping me.
I got you.
You got me.
All the folks out there, man, dear queens, just know that you're loved.
Oh yes, y'all are.
So guys, we're dealing with hurt people, and I did a little bit of research because I didn't want this show to be a shit show, for lack of a better word. So I wanted to deal with the idea of hurt people, and I wanted to create context for you guys first. So we're going to go ahead and read the scripture of the day. So this is what I got, y'all. Hurt people. Their reactions stem from past experiences that led them to certain beliefs that they accepted as truth. They are actually just preconceived ideas projected onto others to protect their ego. It's really not about, I put us at all. It's about them and what's inside them coming out and projecting onto us. And that's relative. So this show is going to be a personal show because as I was reading through the context of hurt people, I found out that a lot of behaviors that I had engaged in the past, they talked about. But I wanted to really go deep and kind of delve in and deal with it. What do you think, Josh?
I agree. I mean, I'm excited to read some of these examples.
So why don't you go ahead and start with that first example?
So we got Exhibit A. It says, a friend told me she didn't want to be friends anymore, and I accepted this as the truth. This is what she said that she wanted, and I honored it. Hence, she was manipulating me to see if I would react a certain way. She was hurt and wanted to feel that I truly loved her.
Now, see, that's an opinion, and I mean, that's their truth, obviously, but have you had that happen to you before?
I mean,
Come on.
I've been told before, like, you know, don't call me, don't waste your time. It's done. Keep it pushing, all that good stuff.
But she ain't really mean it, right?
That was my next question. That was my next question. How did you feel about that? How did it make you feel?
I think it's hurtful to hear something that, you know, coming from somebody that you love, like, or you're interested in that tells you something like that. Mm-hmm. And
but what did you do to bring that on? Because see, it's two sides to this. Because
I didn't take the trash out that day.
You didn't take the trash out that day.
Okay.
What did that mean? I'm slow.
I was just joking. I was just saying like something that caused her to get upset.
Oh, you didn't take the trash out that day. Oh, okay. So, but no, seriously though.
I remember one time we had already been going through enough. We had some distance between us,
mm-hmm.
and I think it was just a couple of things that added up, and it was just like, you know, don't talk to me, let me be right now, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
does she mean it?
I respected it.
Well, I'm just going because I'm going.
No, it's not for me to say if somebody mean it or if they don't.
But
for me myself, like when I'm told something like that, obviously I'm going to respect giving myself time and space, giving, you know, myself time and space with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And
he ain't keeping it real, so I'm gonna keep it real.
Keeping it real, man.
So I have told somebody you know that, but I didn't tell them that I didn't want to know if they loved me, or even this said that this was about them finding out if that person really loved them. For me, it's like it's like you at a point, you at a what you call a impasse, right? You don't know which way to go. So you try to evoke some level of emotion. It's not that you want to end the friendship, relationship, whatever it is, right? But you're trying to get some reaction, some response, because a lot of times people can be passive aggressive or passive, you know, and maybe they're not giving you the response that you want, or maybe they're not responding in the way that you want them to, or giving you the answers that you're seeking. So you're like, you know what, I'm at an impasse. I don't know really what to do. So either we're going to have to end it here, or maybe if I let them know exactly what's really going on, because obviously they're oblivious at how serious this situation is, I'm letting them know where I am emotionally. It's not that I want to know, but if they love me or not, but it's a specific situation or a specific answer that I'm seeking. And I have done that. You know, I have, you know, said, you know what, let's just be done with this.
Is that your way of keeping it real?
That was my way of keeping it real.
So now, mind you, I'm on the other end of it, right? So I got to be ready to give
Can you put your earphones on, please?
No, I got to be ready to give my interpretation of being on the other end of somebody who's hurt is trying to hurt the person, correct?
It's not necessarily that the person is trying to hurt you, but is that they're trying to evoke
to the text.
A response. No, but
okay, I get that. But again, if I'm on the other end of it, now can I be allowed to keep it real from my perspective?
Go ahead and keep it real,
because
Josh.
what you said was you're the person who was hurt and you put that on the person. You asked me for my response being on the other end of it. I just want to know if I have your permission to move forward.
Sir, would you like to fight? You want to take us outside?
I'm undefeated. But I'm just saying, though, as a person who's on the other end of it, you know what I'm saying? Like my ex-wife, for example, like,
thank you.
I had plenty of them moments. So that's me keeping it real because I said my ex-wife.
Because you like surface.
It ain't surface, but I'm just saying, like, I ain't got to go into all that just to give an answer. So anyway, with my situation, there were many a times where I was on the other end of that. You know what I'm saying? And I would try to be very respectful of how she would feel, but at the same time, I can't sit up here and allow too much precious time to go on, too many days to go on, things like that. I'm not in the holding grudge. I didn't marry you for that. I wasn't with you for that. We're going to go through some shit, cool. But at the end of the day, let's try to focus on the bigger picture. And if I've done something, first thing I need to do is admit to my mistake or whatever it is that I did. But let me try to understand how you feel and where you're at with it. Because the whole, you know, I'm going to treat you this way, I'm going to hold a grudge, or I'm going to tell you this because I'm trying to get a reaction, this, that, and the other. Like, I'm not into that. We're not getting anything resolved going about it in that way. So therefore, like I said, being on the other end of it, I definitely would give her time and her space. I would try to be vocal, you know what I mean, by asking her, like, look, I understand you feel how you feel, but let me know when you're ready to talk. And if she's still where she's at with it, I would still keep a healthy bit of distance, but at the same time, just constantly let her know that I'm sorry, I love you, I'm here, whenever you're ready to talk. And that's the most that I can do until she's ready. You can't force somebody to want to have a conversation with them like that.
But the point is how did you even get there to where she even had to say that in the first place is what I'm trying to deal with. But guys, we're going to pick this up when we come back. Relationship status with your girl, Chanel.
Say, Powell. Paris just joined us. What's up,
on
B?
108.9.
She got stuck in the elevator, y'all.
You're going to say that power. You're going to say that power.
I know I say power. I was saying, Paris, this thing is in that envelope, yes. No, I had to jumpstart the conversation. That's why I did it. No, because I'm saying she got mad at me, but
I'm not mad, but you gotta. I'm on the other end of it. It ain't you. And then too, like
I'm on the fade.
what we
said I'm
talking
on the
about.
fade.
I am not tripping, but if we get into,
it don't have to
The
be
response
this
is
exactly.
correct.
This is just
but I'm pointing at time,
behind that.
right?
Yeah.
It don't matter what happened to get there.
Yes, it do.
Okay, I cheated, y'all. Y'all get that? What else y'all want to know? Is that real enough for you?
Come on, Josh.
I fell short.
You doing too much.
That's what you want.
It's not.
And then too, it ain't even necessarily got to be that. It could be anything that's transpired over a amount of time that she could be in her feelings about. I came home late. I didn't return a call. I didn't return a text.
We don't right.
I don't know. We still filming.
Why we turning
They
lights
still
down,
paying
man?
attention.
We ain't on 108. How 108?
It don't matter. We still filming.
Yeah, I was asking like,
They getting all that. That what you want?
no, just let me know.
I can't sit up. Hey, Mike, I can't sit up there and tell which part of it that I did in 11 years. I didn't know that was as important as the fact that we got to that point. But hey,
Because you
let's
got
pick
to
and choose.
peel back the layers.
okay,
in
let's
order
peel
to
back.
get
So
it.
once I tell the people when we come back, y'all, I cheated, right? We talked about that a couple shows ago.
We do this.
I
every day.
cheated.
I know, that's what I said.
No, but once we get to that point, then what? I just want to know. So when the people know, oh, he cheated, then what? So does it change to the fact that I cheated now?
No, because you could talk about the fact that, yes, I did this,
You know
but
she
I
lied
was
right here,
very
right?
remorseful.
I was.
And these are the measures that I took to try to heal the situation. That's what you do. The person that I know you did whatever you could to do that. I still love you though.
It ain't got nothing to do with that. But whether it's cheating or anything, it don't matter the
It
offense.
does matter.
Oh,
People
to who?
need
To who?
hear
To
that.
you or to the people?
To the people.
I ain't seen one motherfucking comment on here yet, other than some hard eyes,
We
some
just
hallelujah
started.
hands, and what else?
Because they are saying yes, because we was trying to jumpstart. Jumpstart, you know what jumpstarting?
Spell it out for me then, since you feel I don't know. Help educate me.
You know
I'm from the
what?
south side of
Me-
Atlanta. I have no idea. I went to Riverdale. Have no clue. Please help me.
Do we need to step outside and have this conversation?
Absolutely
in private?
not. We want the people to see.
Do we really want to
Because this
They
jump
can't
started.
even hear
say
you.
that again?
I feel like y'all actually.
They can't even hear y'all.
You think that's right? Well, you think we should? I agree with you.
I got my headphones on. I don't hear or see none of y'all. Ray Charles. Get ready. They're coming back.
Yes. Hey, that's my brother. You better watch out. My brother on here tonight now. Hey, Carlos. It's your girl Chanel with Relationship Status Live.
And it's your boy J Powell. My dog just came back up in here. P in the building.
He in the
She was stuck
building.
in the elevator. We had to go save her. I don't know if it was the weather. We had a power outage. I don't know.
That
We
really
got it.
was.
Y'all, we're dealing with hurt people. And so we was talking about Josh and how he was in a situation where he encountered the hurt people. You know, we had this idea where, you know, we may have a significant other and, you know, sometimes we'll tell them, you know what, it's over. I don't want to be with you anymore. Don't call me anymore. But it's really to get to an underlying issue. And Josh was telling us about his situation prior to the break. So do you want to continue, sir?
Sure. Since I'm not being real enough and she wants to go into what happened in my 11-year marriage. So here, let me start by saying that, which I've already admitted to, the fact that I was unfaithful prior to, and probably the fact that it could have been anything else that added on to that. You know, I had many mishaps, mistakes, many times that I failed again. So that's probably why I had to deal with a lot of the things that I dealt with. Are we getting real enough? My partner in crime, is that real enough for you?
Yes, you know,
Did
I
that
always
lay a
got
little
your
bit out
back.
there for you?
Yes, but let me tell you something. This is the most compassionate, loving God that I know. So let's just be clear about that. I'm just trying to create context, right? To understand so we can paint a picture so people can kind of think through their own personal situations and be able to glean through what you learned, through what happened, how did it work itself out? You know, and even for the men, a lot of times women will say, don't call me anymore. They'll tell you, I don't want to, I don't want to do this anymore. But it's really a cry for attention. Depending upon whatever the situation is, sometimes we feel like, I know you say, you men feel like you're not heard, but we feel like you don't get us or we're not heard. Or do you understand the depth of the hurt that we are experiencing in this moment?
You see why? Did you see why there's a disconnect?
Between who?
The cry for attention instead of just saying, this is how you feel.
But
that's like a baby that's sleepy. Just go to sleep.
But sometimes, though, I don't think men understand the depth.
We can't understand because you're busy throwing signals instead of saying what it is.
But okay, so you're going to make me go there. Because, see, my thing is, do you understand what it feels like to have your man, your husband? I've never even been married, so I can't even fathom the depth of the pain that she may have felt, but I've been cheated on. To have, because it's not just a simple act of, oh, he slept with somebody, but it's more so about the fact that here I go I'm going into my little bag of drama. Like, it's about he chose this person over me, or what is it so great about this person, or what is it that I'm not doing at home, so that this person is doing.
Initially, what's the feeling?
I mean,
you said men don't understand what it's like.
Yes, like
that's what you're saying.
Men and women.
I'm asking a question, please.
I don't think that you guys can identify with the pain that we feel because we internalize it, we personalize it. It becomes a part of who we are.
So we don't hurt you?
I'm not saying.
We don't go through pain or experience?
I'm speaking on behalf of the women.
I didn't know this was a comparison thing. Pain is pain across the board.
Yeah, everybody hurt.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm a woman, so I'm speaking on behalf of the women.
Then you do that, but don't sit up there and say for men that we don't understand what it feels like to be in pain or hurt or whatever, because we deal with it.
I think some men can definitely feel that pain on a deeper level than they may express sometimes, even if they don't express it.
Absolutely.
But it's just a way that after those things are internalized, like how you feel about it.
So what I'm really trying to get at, because the whole point of doing this, having this conversation and covering this topic is to talk about ways in which we can get away from throwing false alarms and really get to what it is. Like I said, a lot of times it's a cry for attention. Or in this particular instance, they said that this person wanted to know that they were loved and honored. And so they wanted the person to fight for the situation as opposed to just saying, okay. And even in this scenario, they kind of fell back and gave them what they wanted, but then later called them. And that person was like, oh, I'm so glad you called because this is what I really wanted. And I don't think it's a test because I've even been, and so I'm gonna, because I'm gonna put this scenario to the side and I'm gonna talk about me because I have done that and it wasn't a test, but a lot of times you don't feel affirmed. Remember, I talked about the affirmation.
Right.
You don't feel no, it's not a test. It's like if this person isn't gonna, if I'm not gonna get what I need from this person, because the whole point of relationship, we are trying to meet a need. So if I'm not getting what I need from this person, then it's best we end it. Why should I stay in a situation that I'm not happy, that is draining me, that I feel like I'm not affirmed, that I feel like I'm not wanted, that I feel this way? And for me personally, I've probably already had the conversation with that person several times before we even got to the point where I was like, okay, let's be done. Not that I really wanted to be done, but I'm trying to get something and I'm not getting it. So it's like desperate measures call, what is it?
Desperate times.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
So then would you compare that though necessarily to this situation here? Because it seems like in this one, like.
Did you read the whole thing? You gotta read the whole thing.
So, okay, but what about when people like they're first getting into a situation and then they do, some people do the test, some people they'll do things and it's more of like to me, it's very psychologically unhealthy because it's like you're kind of putting emotional woes on someone else just to see if they'll do something.
But you're not doing it, it's not one-sided, you're doing it. So I can only speak for myself because I actually did it. So for me, it's not that I want to put emotional woes on someone else, but that person has probably put some emotional woes on me. I feel some type of way.
It's not just that. First of all, you got it. Secondly, it's not tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? And thirdly, which is the biggest point, is whatever it is that you're feeling or anyone else, instead of sugarcoating it clean and real.
I don't
Say what it
sugarcoat
is
nothing.
And communicate that effectively.
I don't sugarcoat anything.
You might think you don't, right? A lot of women might
That
think
a
they
personal
don't.
choice.
Just like a lot of women. I mean, just like a lot of men, excuse me, might think that they're doing something in their life. At the end of the day, we all should be held responsible for how we communicate and to make sure that when we do communicate, that we communicate effectively. Therefore, we're getting our point across and we're being heard, and that person can understand for a fact where we're coming from instead of kind of giving a roundabout, or as we are seeing some of the examples on the paper that you had printed out for us. Thank you. By not going about it in a manipulative way.
Well, why don't you and Paris have the conversation? I'll just listen to y'all. I'm gonna pull one of Josh's numbers.
It's good.
Go ahead.
It's important to hear.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell what you're gonna say.
Anyway, so basically in this situation, what I pulled off of it though, seriously, was that like he kind of felt like he was kind of manipulating her, because in a way he was saying like, if I act a certain way and it makes you back off, then I'll get to walk away scot-free for that behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically not his responsibility. It's like, no, you still have to take full responsibility for your actions, especially if you're doing it just to get a reaction out of that person, just to see what they'll do. That's being manipulative. That's not being like honest and like transparent with your partner.
But manipulative on the person's part that they were projecting that on. Like, because like you were saying, they did this and he purposely fell back because he didn't want to give this person what they were yearning for. Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I mean, you gotta check some of the comments.
Did y'all want to move on to like talking about like, did y'all already talk about when you're in a relationship and you already heard about somebody?
We can talk about
How about we gonna conduct this show and we gonna do it the way we gonna do it, because it's relationship status, Josh and Chanel, and that's what it is.
Power 108. I got you. Lighten up, Chanel. That's what you want, the real or wrong. Let's get it.
This is 20 seconds
You need me to go? Or?
That's here. But if you need to, you can. But that was directed here.
Oh, they do. So when you don't speak directly into the mic, your voice kind of like dies out a little bit. That goes for you too, guys.
Okay.
You kind of cut to the side a little bit. It's not like the full long voice.
Okay.
So just make sure you staying right there.
You want some moonshine or something?
No, that I got on my damn nerves. I'm about ready to be. I'm so serious.
Let's do this every week, shit.
Yeah.
You want some crown?
No, ain't no
That's a good
crown,
topic.
no crown.
Man, this is a good topic. This how you know it's good, because
Right.
Well,
You know
it ain't
what I'm
Paris show
saying?
back. This Chanel and Josh show.
this how you know it's. This how you know
What?
it's. You know what I'm saying?
Coming back from that TV timeout, that quick 20-second timeout.
Yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to stop instigating though, because that is really immature. Seriously, I'm not even like joking. I'm really not joking. That's really immature.
Let's go.
It's radio. Paris, come on now.
I
It's
mean,
radio.
it's cool, but like if somebody's like,
Investigate.
if someone,
It's radio. It's real
I feel like y'all are.
conversation.
I'm gonna just put that
I'm
out
not.
there.
I could, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But either way,
No,
if
because
you see someone-
it's between. Because this, I mean, it's
if you notice tension, why you gonna try to? You know,
right, but
It's not tension. It's not tension.
well, I
Oh,
directed. So we got people on the. We got people on the comments who are asking us to do questions, and so I made it very clear that this is our show. This
I'm
not
on
the
your
day. This not the day for me.
I mean, you have.
Well, it ain't
So my
no
thing
day.
is, and
But
Paris
if they
thought I
wanna
was
know-
directing it, but it ain't about. But they not here doing the show.
Let me turn the.
So,
let me turn the
Paris
camera
thought I
down.
directed the comment towards her, but we weren't ready because we were talking in here.
You want it a little higher?
No, I'm good.
You good? I just want to make sure.
I'm good.
You know, because you was hot earlier, so I just want to make sure you still cool
I'm good.
as far as the temperature and everything. All right, you ready? Ready to
No, they gonna do this one.
come back? No, hell no.
Come on here.
They got it.
There we
Josh
go.
and Chanel.
Ain't it
No, it's Paris and Josh.
though? Ain't it though?
And Bex and that other girl on there.
Now look at who type. Now look at who type.
Hey,
Show them the real. Show them the real.
you know I have no issue with that.
Show them the real. Let them see. Show them the real. I'm here with you, big dog. However you want to rock, it's your world now.
All right, we
But
come
keep
back.
it
I'll bring
funky.
it back.
Keep
If y'all
that same
want.
energy.
I'll bring it back if y'all
Across the
want.
board.
Regardless.
You ready?
You know you did.
It's
y'all.
ready. I ain't do nothing.
Yes, you did.
I'm not responsible for nobody but me.
See, the difference between
I'll be
Yeah.
personal.
is you fell back and then
Let me
say
see.
nothing
Let me see.
for the remainder of the
Red.
I got
show.
it right.
He ready.
Wish I got
What?
it right, son. Yeah, you ready to come back?
That's
We
a good
still on this, we still on this
before
first
the
example,
question.
right?
Appreciate it.
We still on this first example, right? All right, good. You still got one more. All right, good. They hit. Come back whenever you're ready.
You waiting on the boss to come in. T.I., huh?
Thank you, Paris. I appreciate you.
Oh shoot.
You get the video. It's a good time to come in. It's a good time to come in.
It's your girl Chanel. Relationship status live, Power 108.9. So guys, we're dealing with hurt people.
Hard
There ain't anyone hurting him tonight.
I ain't hurt.
Hey.
Well, y'all, we can go ahead to the comments
I'm
since they
hurt.
want
Let me
they
keep
want
it
they got
real. I'm
comments. What you hurt for?
What you say, G?
All right, so we still on first example, right? I'm gonna jump in this.
Go ahead.
So I had a situation most recently, and this I am about most situations, just about all situations. If you ever decide you want to exit stage left, find an exit sign and walk out my life, peace and blessings. It don't matter, like, you can tell me, like, what's going on. You can tell me the problems or situations you're having. Typically, that's not my experience. Typically, there is not as much communication, or there is no communication. It's just, I don't want to do this no more. All right, baby girl. Have a great one. You know what I'm saying?
You don't ask her why?
No, because up front, before we get into anything serious, I say, look, I just need communication. It's my biggest thing. And they always say, oh, of course, yes, you cannot go forward without good communication. I said, okay, now, when something goes down, when you start feeling the way, I need you to let me know. I need you to tell me what's going on. If I did something to you, if I made you feel a certain type of way, let me know. Even if it's to the point where you don't even want to mess with me no more.
But, and I don't know about your situation. I can only speak from personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when a woman says that or does that, it's because somebody isn't communicating. Or you can't get to the core of what the real problem is. Or either you just being dismissive or have no regard.
Yes, I can see that. It could also mean that they done found somebody else.
It could. It very well
They
could.
wanna,
So if you're not fighting for it, then you might be doing her a favor. But I feel like if you really care about her, you would at least ask, say, hey, you know, like, what's up? Why would you say that? Now, if she still wants to leave, then let her leave. But at least you did your due diligence to make sure y'all were on the same page and, you got the answers that you need. Because you can't tell me that if you really care about this person and she says she want to leave, you're going to just be cool with her leaving and never ask no questions. Because if you do, then you didn't really care about her in the first place.
I think you can care so much to the point where if she feels like her life would be better without you in it,
Well, sometimes
I want you to be happy, sweetheart.
you can discern when you have gotten to that point.
Yep.
But now, if this has happened several times and you guys can't get to any resolve, then okay, fine. But because I mean, you're gonna have arguments, you're gonna have disagreements.
Absolutely.
Well,
it happens.
We don't.
That's what I'm saying. I think we put too many stipulations on this thing. It's got to be over that happens continuously or this, that, and the other. Like, it shouldn't be there. because according to a bit of what you said that I heard, if a person does truly love, like, or care about the other individual that they're dealing with, then they will give them that due diligence regardless. Whether it's number 1 or number 7, it shouldn't matter. You should be able to, both sides, effectively communicate what it is that's on your mind. And don't use words or things or situations to give out energy that you truly don't mean. I would never play with somebody that I really care about. I love you and I fuck with you. I would never tell that person, like, I'm out. I'm not gonna play with that unless I'm seriously out.
I agree.
And a lot of people play with these words because they're trying to get a reaction or they're trying to get some type of response. I don't think that that's fair to the person who's giving it out and to the person who's receiving it on both ends. You know what I'm saying? If the person who's hurt, I respect that. But just share with me that you're hurt. Tell me,
Yes.
we don't have to talk. Just give me some space right now. It's not a good time for me. Whatever.
But I
Take
don't.
your time that you need. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to get to a point where you can communicate to me effectively what is on your mind or in your heart. There's no need, no time to be playing games talking about, well, don't do this, don't do that. And then you giving me the inclination that you're out. And then if I act accordingly, I'm wrong. That's not fair to me. And that's what y'all don't understand. Well, not y'all. It's me and you having this conversation. I feel like, in my opinion, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect what you're saying, but then there are parts of that I don't agree with because of the fact, like, you got to take that into account. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that's on your mind, then just share that. Just share that and just be open and honest and as vulnerable as you can be. And if that person doesn't respect that, then in your mind, you should be at a point where you put that in the back of here and say, you know what? I don't like how that was handled. Then you can go to past examples of things that have happened and be able to make a decision on how you want to move forward. You know what I'm saying? But if it's something that you ain't feeling, then run with that and say what that is effectively instead of kind of beating the bush or sugarcoating something or trying to go about it in a way to get a response or a reaction.
But even because I'm a communicator, so if it's something on my mind, I'm going to articulate it. But sometimes you still don't get the answers that you need. In this particular instance, in the situation that I have in mind right now, I still didn't get any resolve to my issue. Now, I agree with you 100% when you say you don't play with that. And I have been guilty of doing that. And I don't think anybody deserves to be on an emotional roller coaster. And I think in that particular moment, I felt like I had no other choice. I felt like that's where it was. So I did want that person to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Because in that moment, I didn't feel affirmed. I wasn't getting what I was after, you know, and I felt like they didn't understand to the extent of where I was with it. Like, it was just, you know, it wasn't, I don't think they saw it as serious as it was.
So, question. What answer were you looking for specifically? And if you hadn't got that answer, would everything have been
Well, I think
hunky-dory?
I can't say that it would have been hunky-dory, but I wanted some resolve to a particular, I'm not going to go into the answer that I was looking for. Like I said, there was an issue of affirmation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It was an issue of wanting to be accepted. It was an issue where I was feeling rejected. It was an issue where I felt like I wasn't being affirmed. And I felt like in that moment, I felt like I was pouring out more than that person was. So it's a situation where you feel like you're giving more. You know, you pouring yourself out, but they're not pouring back in, or not at least to the level or the extent that you want them to.
You wanted action, not words. You didn't really want to answer. Like,
I wanted to at least.
More action.
I wanted action, but I wanted to at least understand the deficit.
Another thing I would like to address, please, is the fact that, you know, she made a comment about not receiving an answer that she wanted, I feel, in my opinion, that's really unfair to try to dictate or control a response. And I don't think that that's cool. I don't think that that's right, because at the end of the day, that person is responsible for giving the best answer that they possibly can give. And if that's something that doesn't sit well with you, then that honestly is on the person that has the problem with the answer that was given. Like, you can't sit up, because especially the types of situations and scenarios that we're dealing with, it's not like, somebody's at school and you have a situation or a problem, you know the answer to that, and you're trying to give them, time to be honest or open about whatever they did that caused them to get detention or something like that, or whatever the case may be. Like, this is one of them things, like when you're dealing with feelings and emotions, it's not fair for you to try to dictate where somebody is at or how they're feeling or or why they gave the response that they gave. Like, you asked a question, you would hope that they would be open and honest with you, and you just got to leave it at that.
So do I still continue to engage this person feeling the way that I feel? Do I continue? Like, because it's
I'm not saying that, but it sounds like you're a person that whatever happens, it will never be enough. Somebody can literally, honestly, and it's just my opinion, just listening, somebody can literally go out of their way, tell you, be open and honest with you, but because you don't feel like that was proper enough, you'll stay on it and you won't get off of it, which can also be hurtful in the long run. If you're going to constantly keep going down that lane. And then here's the other part. If they keep repeating the same answer, then I would like to be a betting man and just guess that that's probably where they're at or how they're feeling about the situation or how their response is when it comes to that person's question. If they're literally coming off of the same response, giving it to you the same way, whether it's a sunny day, a rainy day, there's sleet, hail, or snow, and you're getting the same response no matter what, then you got to be willing to take that. And then moving forward, I do agree with you. Like, you don't have to put up with shit you don't want to put up with. That's your decision to do that.
Mm-hmm. It's your girl Chanel on Relationship Status Live.
It's your boy Jay Powell, Power 108.9.
That was a good segment right there. That was a good segment.
You can feel the energy in this motherfucker. You can feel it. Hey, you did a good job.
How long
Love ministry.
How long we got?
Oh, okay.
How long we got?
For the whole show?
No, break.
2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Fuck ministry. I check.
Let me see, I forgot.
Okay.
You can pull out that.
The way this show going,
What's the way it's
ministry.
going? What's the way it's going?
It's a lot going on in this show. It's
It
a
can't
lot
be personal, Chanel.
going on
It
in
can't be
this
personal.
show.
What's going to be the problem? If it's going to be personal, what we're doing? It can't be personal, Tim. It's all out of love. We finna help folks. That's it.
It's not only about the words that's being exchanged in this room. There's some other stuff going on.
Man, fuck all that. But at the end of the day, it still can't be to that point and that extent, though. You feel? I ain't got nothing on my heart. Ain't no mouth. It's no.
You don't have no reason to have nothing on your heart.
But I'm making sure I say that though, because too is also a
Yeah, but
vibe that you can give off too, because you feel away.
But Josh, you can say that now that things have gotten hot in here. You can say that now.
Oh, it's hot.
I'm worried about that.
No, I'm saying like you say that now, but that's just like the scenario that we gave. We was one place, and then I jumpstart the conversation, and then now it's like now that things are going down, you ain't got nothing in your heart. Like you started this.
Ain't nothing been in my heart though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I didn't start
like,
anything. Chanel, you don't sit up here and tell me online, oh, you not being real. So now I go and I take a piece out of your pie, and I said, fuck it. You want me to be so fucking transparent? I'm gonna give it to you that way. Now, what's the problem? Because I'm putting my shit out there. I'm being real as you
want to
say I
you
need
want
to
me
be.
to put my shit out there?
But I'm just saying, no, but it's about me though.
Okay.
Because you trying to confront me on something in which you aren't on the other side of it. There's two sides to this thing. But it's two sides to it, Chanel. It's two sides. One side is the person who's hurt, who's doing it, and the other side is the person who's receiving. You asked me a question. I'm giving you an answer from my side.
How many times do I ever say you not being real?
It's from my side though.
Okay.
And then the other thing that you got to stop doing is cutting everybody off. She ain't even finished with her shit yet. You cut her off. I'm trying to tell you some shit. I'm not being real. You cut me off. Again, it ain't never personal, but you got to work on that. That's me effectively communicating with you.
Okay.
With nothing but love.
Go to the top.
I got this whole 10 minutes.
That's what we got left. Respect.
We ain't gonna break.
We know.
I got this whole 10.
She said we can still hear you guys. We know.
That's good.
We know.
Go to the top. Go to the top. So,
Oh, they can hear you on there.
And on here too, because he still got the thing.
The mic's not on.
Oh.
you ready?
It's the real. It happens every show.
It's on you there.
It's always
Yeah, whenever she's ready.
Paris, did you want to go to the comments?
Basically, I know before they were saying that basically if you let something,
My brother said I look like my daddy. I know the older I get, I look just like him. I know. My brother told me to tell you to watch it. What are you saying?
They went on at 9.
This kid.
You ready?
Yeah, ready.
And
It's your girl Chanel, relationship status live. Hurt people, hurt people.
J. Powell 108.9.
So we're gonna go ahead and do what you guys been asking us to do and let Paris go to the comments.
all right, so I know earlier people were kind of touching on the fact that when anyone has, like, I guess basically when anyone is hurt, that they still have a responsibility to effectively communicate and to not kind of go into those, I guess, like the desperate measures, I guess, that you were touching on. Like, if you say something that's hurtful, it's like you're still responsible for whatever you said or whatever you did.
Mhm.
That's basically what they were talking about. And really just having effective communication through when you've been hurt by your partner, when you feel unvalidated or whatever it may be.
I agree. I mean, like I said, nobody deserves to be on an emotional roller coaster, and I'll be the first one to admit that that's probably not what I should have done, but I did, and so I used it to create context for the show. You know, it's like they wanted us to go to the comments, but
you need to stop commenting.
No, it was a lot of stuff like before that though. Like,
Someone
it was
asked, did
like
we
way
say
up.
why people hurt people, why they do it?
because we said
Okay.
because they want validation.
That's a big part of it.
Mhm.
You mentioned another part that I can't remember as to why you said it.
Oh, someone said we also need to take personal time to heal before we jump into a new situation. I definitely agree on that.
Big fact.
I agree on that, but what I will say on that, for someone who was celibate for 8 years and didn't date for 8 years, a lot of times you don't know that you haven't healed from certain things until you get put in a situation and those emotions are provoked, and you're like, damn, I didn't know I was still struggling with that. So I don't know how long I'm supposed to be single. You know what I'm saying? Because it was 8 years.
That's weird.
So
But during that time, what were some of the things that you did? You know, how did you feel that you were progressing and growing?
I think during that time, I really tapped into who I was as a person and just purpose, you know, my relationship with God, strengthening that and just cleaning up my act. You know, it's a lot of dysfunction prior to those 8 years, you know, that kept me, you know, creating the same pattern from one relationship, or I won't even say relationship, but one situation to the next. And you find out like 8 years later, when I reflect back, prior to the 8 years, times when I thought I was in a relationship, I wasn't. It was a situation, you know? So I spent the 8 years just trying to get my head together.
So even in a better space, let me ask y'all something. Even when you're in a better space, I'm assuming everyone in the room is in a better space. What are some of the things that you practice, now? You know what I mean? Like in the space that you're in, that you still feel are important to keep you in that good space.
I think for me, one of the things, I think for me, because I know even though I do struggle, and I'll be very transparent, like I struggle with low self-esteem. I struggle with that, not necessarily low self-worth, because I know my worth, but I struggle with low self-esteem. But I do find that I deal with situations better because I know what my purpose is. I know who I am. So if somebody decides that they don't want to be with me, then I'm cool with that. You can walk. I'm not going to try to hold on. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to do no crazy shit. I'm not going to stalk you. I'm not going to do any of that. Whereas before, prior to the 8 years, I might do a drive-by. I might call a couple times. I might do those crazy behaviors. But now I'm like, okay, if you clearly communicate to me, I don't want this, and see you later, then I'm cool with it.
So, I guess for myself, I know that a big part on my journey that's helped me is, for one, like meditation, being able to be in my own space, picking times out of the day, whether it be 5 minutes, whether it be 10 minutes, whatever it is, just constantly being able to reflect. I also say like a lot of little prayers throughout the day that have been very helpful for me. Reading has been essential, obviously, and therapy has been very important in my journey. I know it's helped me a lot. I was on and off for years, but since going through my divorce and things like that, in this space, it's been very helpful for me as a man and as a father, because dealing with a lot of emotions and things like that, not only from stuff that I was dealing with, but then the stuff that my kids have to go through. Like, it's been a huge help for me in my process moving forward. So,
I didn't answer that question properly. I didn't know that's what you meant.
No, but you did though. I mean, you gave some context, so you answered it in the way that you felt that and where you at. Like, I got what you said. So.
Yeah, I guess I wanted you. I mean, but you gave good insight on how people can like make an attempt to really help themselves kind of work through certain scenarios. And I will reinforce the idea of therapy, because I do the therapy as well.
Sure.
That's a really good thing that's been happening a lot lately in our community. That people are recognizing they have things they need to work on, and they might not necessarily know how to do it themselves, so they're going to naturally seek help. So it's fantastic that we got awesome posts on Powell 189 and that subtle way. So,
Absolutely. I think too, like your circle, like not everybody, but whether it's friends, family, like you have a strong circle in your corner that's supportive. You know what I'm saying? Not on no yes shit, but to be able to be transparent with you, allow you to be vulnerable with them, and then they make sure that they're careful with how you feel and not telling you some bullshit just to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really care about your situation and what's going on. And I think too many times broken people will go to a certain type of person or people with their story because they're trying to get people to like, yeah, girl, like, or yeah, bro, like, do it that way, whatever. And I think that's bullshit. That's a bad way of handling you trying to heal and get better in the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people who just jump on and be like, bro, let's go out, let's drink, let's just fuck them. Don't even think about them. Like, I think that's bullshit. There ain't no way of healing. You know what I'm saying? Because people aren't really happy. There's a lot of folks that be flexing like they really happy, and they out here going out, always hanging out, got different people in and out, like doing all that extra shit, man. You ain't really taking time to do what you need to do for yourself and heal yourself. You out here just living life, putting on for social media and this, that, and the other, and that ain't really what's going on internally. Like, because you hurt, but you ain't taking the time to be alone for yourself. Therefore, you can't register what's going on. So for you, that's normal behavior. There ain't nothing normal about that. People who really know and have gone through the motions, they know that's bullshit. So stop playing yourself. And the people that surround you who allow you to do that shit, y'all on the fuck shit too. Straight like that.
Straight like that.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
Hey, let me say this, man. Let me say this before we wrap it up.
No. Okay.
Even before the break, let me say this, man. At the end of the day, I don't care what y'all on, man. Me and Chanel good. It's gonna be some times and some moments. It's gonna be heated.
Right.
But that's good. It's real life. You know what I'm saying? We talking about situations that people deal with on a daily basis. At the end of the day, that's my dog. That's my Ace Boom. I'm riding for. We all in here, one family. Fuck all that other shit y'all talking, whether it's on the net or even the people across the doors. They got their own situation going on. We good up in here. You feel me?
Hey, can I just say real quick? Y'all remind me of me and Joy.
I was just about to say that.
Me and Joy back in the day.
I was just about to say that.
So it happens, and I truly understand. Keep up the great work.
Garcia said thanks for
All right, guys. When we come back, we're gonna wrap it up and talk about how to handle. Well, Josh kind of covered it, but I'm just gonna give you some practical principles on how to handle this type of behavior. Chanel Scott, Relationship Status Live, Power 108.9.
Yo.
20 seconds time off.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick. It'll be quick.
Hershey said, "What's up?"
What is an awesome, awesome show. This is an awesome show. Y'all,
Look at it and came back. Look at
Well,
it.
he's just making me
Smiling now.
energy, boy.
Smiling now. This right here. This right here.
Energy, boy.
This right here.
No, I won't. No, I understood what she was saying, but it's just like she came in after we had already, because Josh, he take things a certain way, and I don't be meaning it, and I take things a certain way, and he don't be meaning it.
It's
They
good.
doing a show over there too?
Well,
Oh, it's
like a marketing campaign.
you good?
I'm good.
Oh, what they was doing? Was they saying something over there?
I have no idea what was going on over there. They do it in Drama Club.
Are you there?
I'm trying to get something in there, bro. Open field, and I'm drinking. I'm trying to drive. Get the world going. I had so much going on.
Joe, you got it, Joe?
I got it. You
All
ready?
right. Hold on, no, I'm talking about that. You good?
Yeah.
Let me grab
You
my
gotta
bag.
work out in the morning.
I lost 10 pounds since you started. I started doing
Listen,
something.
bro, y'all got all kind of food and resources around here. Ain't no excuse for that.
What? Working out?
Well, I didn't talk about that.
I'm trying to be like you. You come in here and just be taking your shirt off with no problem. I want to be that guy.
We all
I
got
can't
here,
run
guys.
my stomach.
We all
Ain't
got here.
nothing wrong with you, bro. You skinny husky, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
Skinny fat.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
The real Paris.
You ink that up, bro. They gonna
He
be like,
is
"Ooh."
deep.
I know, right? I got
Bro, that's why I had to do it. That gave me the look. Anytime it fails.
Well, listen, you late. Why you late, girl?
You can be really wrong. Be good.
I'm going to my phone, but you up there.
Hey, this
late.
is you.
Yeah.
What you saying?
Sports shows on Tuesday night.
What's up?
8:30.
Tuesday night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh?
Good job.
Oh,
Thank
boy.
Y'all saw me kiss Chanel. Yeah. Guess what they remind me of? These two right here. Michael and Joy in the morning.
I know whenever I came on y'all show, y'all always had good vibes.
Not before you got
Oh, okay. Oh,
there.
okay.
6:55.
It used to be early.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I still had a sleepy face and everything.
6:55. We be
I was
turned.
sitting up there, face still swollen and everything.
And then by the time 7 o'clock comes, Michael and Joy in the morning. MichaelandJoy.com.
It's the website.
It's the website. Paris, come here, give me
Hey,
some love.
I kind of discriminate.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Here.
He got a, yeah, he got a. His brother was killed.
Oh,
He got a
man.
fundraiser.
Oh.
You can get on that
Award
free
show.
apparel.
Yeah. Chris Buzz, yeah. I see him.
Oh, you leaving?
Yeah, Eddie got
Oh, Eddie got it.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie.
it. Want to make sure everybody sounds
Did you
good.
want to end the show? Do this last part, Paris?
I'm actually gonna be here later than y'all.
I ain't even in this.
I'm gonna try and make an intro.
Can you
She the
record
voice of
some
reason
drop
tonight.
Yeah,
How to handle the
What you want for Powell? What you want for their show?
for that show?
For their show.
I'm gonna let her handle it.
Uh-huh. Y'all got the first drops.
Yeah, my first job.
The drop.
Drop.
Hey, how long is this thing been recording?
Erase that. Alright, I see y'all.
Bye.
Damn,
It's still recording.
you had this recording from. Oh my god,
Man, just erase it.
it's 5,000 seconds on this bitch.
Erase it. Come on.
I can't erase all of it. It's a show on here. All right, that's okay though. What we can do is. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Is he live on Facebook? Is it live on here on Facebook, by the way? Oh, okay, I'm sure. They get everything.
Are you ready?
All right, it's your girl. I'm back. Relationship Status Live.
Boy, J. Powell, Power 108, current 9.
So before we get into how to handle this type of behavior, I want to go ahead and plug myself and my boy over here. So we got Comministry coming up May 4th. Comministry, May 4th at Spaces downtown on Peachtree, guys. Go ahead and get your tickets on comministry.eventbrite.com. I'm going to release the panel in a couple of weeks. We have some amazing people lined up for you guys, and we're going to be dealing with what men want. So go ahead and get your tickets, Josh and Chanel.
Sure.
Go ahead, Paris. Paris going to go ahead and wrap it up for us.
All right, so just closing it out with how to handle this type of behavior when we're talking about how people are hurting each other when they are hurt. Step one is recognize what it is or what it truly is. Create a safe space for them to be authentic. Have open, honest communication by asking questions and sharing your feelings. Choose whether you want to move forward with the person. It's definitely a good one. Definitely got to be able to step back from the situation and figure out, like, okay, like, we've been in this situation for so long. Do we actually want to, like, continue to move forward? Because some people, like, stay in this, like, battle between each other, continuously hurting each other and turning relationships toxic.
Right. That's true. All right, guys. Well, that concludes our show. Hurt People. We'll be right back here next Thursday
Yes.
at 9 p.m. And I reveal the topic to y'all later because after tonight, I think we need to do something on a more positive note. I'm going to switch it up. I had something in mind, but I don't want to do it no more. We really gonna do a group hug. But y'all check us out. Follow us on Relationship Status Live, and you can check me out at Chanel Nicole Scott on all social media platforms. You gonna get them people some money? Where can they find you?
You can find me in the trap.
It's going
Down.
down.
No, Instagram, Josh21 Kyle, Twitter, JP21 Reasons. I got a book club that I just joined. I do got to details that later. God is good all the time. Got my dog here. Oh, yeah.
What? Chanel.
Yeah. Wow. And my partner in crime, Miss Paris.
Miss Paris.
On deck.
On deck. We love her, y'all.
E, we appreciate you, baby.
All right, peace.
Yeah.